Hello and welcome to another edition of Screens Off. Today we are going to be making some paper rockets. Now, in terms of materials you'll need for today, for tools we're going to need some scissors, pencil, ruler, really optional, and a cup. And then in terms of materials, we're going to need a sheet of paper. Any sheet of paper will do. I just have this nice green piece. We're going to need some tape. I have some painter's tape here I'm going to use because it matches the green. And then we're going to need some sort of bottle. I have here a 2-liter pop bottle. It's been emptied and cleaned. Any bottle technically will do. You could use, a 600 milliliter pop bottle or various other bottles. They just have to be somewhat flexible, squishy. And then finally, we're going to need a piece of pipe. All right, so here I have a piece of 1/2-inch PVC pipe. Now you can get away with different sizes and diameters. Really, it's up to you to find a piece of pipe or tube that will fit inside the top of your bottle. The nice part about this 1/2-inch PVC pipe is that it fits fairly well. It's a pretty snug fit already as it is. Right? It's nice and close. Now you could use different things like maybe a piece of garden hose, or you could even make your own tube out of a piece of cardstock. It takes a little bit more effort, but it's more than possible to do that on your own. The more important part is to have a squishy bottle, and then you find some sort of tube or mount to put on top of it. First up, what we're going to do is we're going to cut our piece of paper in two, and we're going to use this piece of paper as the body of our rocket. So we cut our piece of paper in half and take a piece of tape about the width of the paper. I'm going to save it for a moment later. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tube, in this case my 1/2-inch PVC pipe, and I'm going to try to snugly roll that paper around the pipe. And once we get to the end, I have that seam there, I can take my piece of tape and I can make one solid paper tube, just like that. Should be able to slide it off, and ideally you'd be able to get it back on again later. Alright, so this here is the body of our rocket. I'm going to take a few pieces of tape. I'm going to cover up one end of the rocket just to seal it up. I'm going to do one. To play with it a little bit and put on a few pieces. There we go. So I'm going to take my other half of paper here. I'm going to take my cup, put it down. I'm going to trace a circle with my pencil, and then I'm going to cut out that circle with my scissors, just like that. I'm going to cut out a pie-shaped piece. Doesn't have to be super accurate, I'm just guessing. So I cut close to the middle, close again. I'll have a little bit of a Pac-Man. For those of you who don't know, Pac-Man was a video game your parents may have played when they were your age. It went wacka 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 wacka. And what we're going to do is we're going to go wacka, and then keep tightening up Pac-Man's mouth until we turn him into the nose cone for a rocket. Just like that, we got a nice little nose cone. And we're going to take another piece of tape and use it to hold the nose cone together. So we got a nose cone, we have a body, and what we need to do now is find a way to attach that nose cone to the top of our body. We'll just use a piece of tape again. Let's do a simple one. Curl up some tape, put it on the top here so it has a sticky surface, and then stick my nose cone on tightly. And it'll hold, just like that. Now lastly, you can add some fins. So we can cut out some triangles or rectangles. Here you can be a little creative and add different shapes. I'm just going to do a few triangles. So I made a bunch of triangles to work as fins. I'm going to tape those on and then be right back. I taped on 4 wings onto my rocket. You can see them on the bottom there. Don't have to tape on 4, you can tape on 2, you can tape on 3, you can tape on 1, you can tape on 10. Sky's the limit, it's up to you how many you want to do. But my rocket is now complete. And we did everything just right. It should still fit onto that tube. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to make the tube fit a little bit better inside this bottle. It's just a little bit loose. I don't want it that wiggly right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a teeny bit of tape. I'm going to put it on the bottom. You want this tube, there we go, to hold on nice and snug. Alright? That way, it shouldn't move too much. It's going to hold it nice and still. Now what we can do is we can take our rocket, we thread it on to our tube all the way down, and with a good stomp outside, we can squeeze this bottle. It will squeeze all the air up and into the rocket and push the rocket off and launch it a good distance far away. Now, you don't necessarily need to have just a straight piece of tube, right? Like I said, just about any will work, but here I could add on an elbow, another top, so that way I could keep the bottle on the ground and stomp it and the rocket will launch straight up. If you don't have access to the tubes, you can make your own. So here I took a piece of box board, I carefully curled it up, taped it up until the point it was just snug. Did a slight angle, so the further in you push it, the tighter it gets. And then you would use this as the mold to build your rocket body around, so then you could slide the rocket on and stomp and launch it with that. Well, I think it's time to take our tube, our bottle, and our rocket outside and launch them. So I have my pop bottle, got my tube, I put on an elbow, and my paper rocket all ready for launching. I have a volunteer to stomp on the bottle for me. I'm going to ask my daughter Grace here to stomp the bottle nice and hard. You ready? I'm going to count down from 3. 3, 2, 1, stomp. Oh! And down. Once you stomp the bottle, it will be crushed. You can just blow into one end of the tube, and the bottle will pop right back out again. 3, 2, 1, stomp. Whoa! That came pretty close. That landed pretty close.
Okay.
That was a good job.